Hello and welcome to Culture Shark, a live stream about all things pop culture. I'm Final Monkey,
And I'm Caleb.
and today we have a very special guest star or guest person, guest whatever.
It.
It's
Star and an it.
it.
and it-
85.
I can't remember what name we call you on here. Is
I, th- I, I think it's just I think Rick Ship. I may slip up and say
Call me my given Christian name. I don't care.
yeah. But
yeah. So today we are reviewing the new Superman movie. We finally all got a chance to see it. So that's why Mr. Rexship is here with us today.
I've seen it twice at this point.
Yeah, Caleb hates it. He's seen it twice. So, yeah, so we're going to get right to it. I'm a little bit discombobulated. I just got off the driving for 3 hours, so I just sat down and so little all over the place. But Caleb, you broke down a format for the show, so why don't you get us started here?
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna go ahead and start off with a nice and quick non-spoiler review for those who haven't been able to see it. So that way, if you haven't seen it, I know there's some people who wait a couple because usually it used to be where you would wait until like the next week after to go see a movie because you don't want to like deal with the crowds. Well, at this point, the crowds have even bled into the next week, so some people, even now still haven't seen it because they're waiting for the crowds to die down. So this is for those people who still haven't gotten a chance to see it. So yeah. As far as a non-spoiler review, I'll go ahead and start. I believe I'm going to be. I feel like we're gonna have like kind of similar to our Daredevil show that we had a couple months ago. I think we're gonna have like a nice spectrum of of opinions here. I'll go ahead and wager and say I'm going to be the most positive. I have seen it twice, and my positivity is not because I've gotten a chance to rewatch it. I rewatched it because I was so positive about it. I really do love this movie. I can't say that this is the best film based on DC Comics because you still got the Dark Knight out there, and you still got the Batman. However, if we're talking about like just adapting the feeling of a DC comic, this is it right here. This is one of the most comic book movies I've ever seen. It's colorful, it's fun, action-packed without being overdone, and I also think it just has a great message that for some reason I guess I've just kind of latched on to. People who follow me on Facebook, friends with me on Facebook, or follow me on Instagram, they've really gotten a chance to see how this movie, even in the past week, has kind of changed my perspective on things. Just because I don't know, it's we have so many things that are negative, as far as the world right now. It's nice to have something that's a little bit more positive as far as messaging goes, and really this movie kind of it reminds me of why. And I've never kept this a secret. I'm a DC guy over Marvel. I just always have been. As far as reading the comics, and I've unfortunately had to suffer through some bad DC movies. I've also had to suffer through some cynical, evil Superman projects, whether it's Injustice or The Boys or anything like that. But this really reminds me why I prefer DC over Marvel, because Marvel has characters that you can relate to. You can relate to Iron Man, you can relate to Captain America and Spider-Man. DC, I've always thought, you have characters that you can really look up to. And so I'm hoping that other people of my generation can latch on to this movie, so that way we can, I don't know, strive to be better. So yeah, those are my non-spoiler thoughts. I am 2 thumbs up for this movie. I'm a big fan.
Do you have a score out of 10?
So right now, I would say probably a 4.5. There is, and for me, objectively, a 4.5
Low
is.
score out of 10, dude.
Oh, out of 10. I'm sorry. So I do. I have a letterbox, and letterbox is 5 stars. So out of 5, 4.5. That is objectively how high I go. However, whenever I get to like my 5-star movies, that's something that is a movie that I love without rationalization that no one else can understand. There is a chance that this could be one of my 5-star movies, depending on how well it sticks with me in the next year. And
so somewhere around 9-ish, somewhere.
Yeah. 9 out of 10. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's where we'll go.
So I saw the movie. It's been over a week now, and I've watched a lot of other stuff since then. So it's it's faded a little bit my memories here. So, but I will. I was torn between a 7 or 8. I'm gonna give it like a 7.9. It's just right there, I think. I think it's a good movie. It's a very good Superman. I think there's something about the pacing that is off, or maybe it's just jarring. I need to see it again to finalize it, but I did enjoy the movie quite a bit. I don't think it's a perfect movie, but I think it's pretty good. How about
Nice.
you, Mr. Rexship?
Yeah, so I went into this movie with not really high expectations, just because I wasn't sure that James Gunn was the correct person to do Superman, and I still think that, honestly. That being said, it it's more how I put it, it's like I like it when I didn't like it. That's just that much. Uh, there's parts that I thought were great, very comic booky, like Caleb said, and then there's parts that were really dumb and stupid, and I think they're just part of the James Gunn humor that didn't work for me. But yeah, I would give it like 7.5 out of 10.
Okay,
You know,
that's not terrible. Yeah, so let's. I'm gonna mess up Caleb's format already. So James Gunn as the director, I didn't think this movie was like overly funny like some of his other ones. I know that was a complaint. I really think of only like one scene where I thought, oh, I would have rather heard that speech a little bit more before we went to the joke. It didn't feel as jokey to me as any other superhero movie. Like I think Marvel movies are way worse with
mhm.
the amount of jokes. There was definitely some silly Silver Age stuff in it. All right, so before we get into that, though, I think that's everything for the non-spoiler section of this, because I think you've heard our scores and you've certainly seen the ads. So if you haven't seen this movie, you should have plenty of info to decide whether you want to go see it or not. So let's go ahead and switch it to spoilers. There we go. So as I was saying, there are some silly stuff in there. I think the monkeys are probably the silliest thing in the movie, or crypto chasing squirrels. that sort of thing. But I didn't think it was that bad, and I know some people were freaking out over the monkeys. It's like 2 seconds of the movie. It is.
Yeah, it was not that bad.
Yeah, it was just a
Yeah.
tiny plot point, and even that. Obviously, it was a reference to how James Gunn has been treated online,
Mhm.
and I thought it was fine. I did not have an issue with the monkeys.
I mean, I kind of agree with him. So
He's not too wrong once you realize how many people on X or Twitter or whatever are just bots, and you
Mhm.
realize that you're either arguing with bots or you're arguing with people that just want to start trouble, or you're arguing with a 4-year-old. You know,
yeah.
once you figure all that out, it's kind of like it's not worth it.
I mean, I was just talking about this the other day. The thing that's kind of insane is I think they've done statistics at this point. Over half of YouTube are AI videos now.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah.
One bit with how easy it is to generate a video with AI.
Yeah.
So
So yeah. I mean, you know what's weird? It every time I talk to someone who has problems, and maybe I've got the rose tinted glasses, and I'll be honest, if I have the rose tinted glasses, I'm cool with not taking them off. um, but it's one of those things where like I think I know what problems people have with the movie, but then they tell me the problems, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Monkeys never even entered in my mind as something people would have a problem with.
that was the monkey thing was leaked online several months ago.
Oh, okay.
People were just freaking out over it. I think once they saw the movie, it was not a big deal.
Okay, gotcha. Um, yeah. How did you guys go into this? Because I kind of went into this where we had that first trailer that opened the way the movie opens with him crashing down and whistling for crypto. So I watched that, and then any other piece of advertising that wasn't like a media round by the actors was just kind of like me watching it, not of my own volition. Like I'll see a commercial here or there, but I didn't actively seek out the marketing because I was kind of already sold on the movie. So like I my expectations I think were like a little bit more tame as far as what they were showing in the marketing.
I was kind of the same, but I was spoiled on two things going in. I was spoiled on the monkeys, and I was spoiled on the message from the parents. So I knew both of those going in.
Okay.
So it was not a big deal to me when they revealed it. I was like, yeah, okay. So I knew there was
Yeah.
something up with the parents' message, and I don't know if I knew all the details of the message, but I did know that, yeah, the parents' message was not a good one, and so yeah. So the premise of or the plot of the movie we're going to go over very quickly here. There is there's two countries that are fighting, and it's kind of a setup between Lex Luthor and one of the rulers of those countries. And for whatever reason, in these movies, they love having Lex get into like real estate schemes where he's trying to gain land. It's been like the plot of every Superman movie for Superman Returns, the first Superman, etc.
Yeah.
So I don't know why that always seems to happen, but here we are again.
Well, I will say one thing that I enjoyed about this, and he was very clear about this towards the end. The land thing was just a bonus.
Oh yeah. He really, his main goal was to defeat Superman.
Yeah.
he cannot stand Superman, and the movie kind of throws us into the middle of it. There's a big fight where Superman gets injured. He's fighting the Hammer of Boravia, I think it is.
The Hammer of Boravia.
Yeah. Who is secretly Ultraman in disguise? Who is secretly probably Bizarro in disguise? We'll see.
Mhm.
And it's all kind of a setup. And what they are trying to do is figure out where Superman goes to lick his wounds, the Fortress of Solitude. And on Lex's team, he has a team of like engineers, computer nerds. They remind me quite a bit of the can't remember what they're called, the gold people in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where they're all on their little computers.
Yeah, the Sovereign.
The Sovereign, yes. There were a couple things in this movie where I was like, oh, I've seen this in other James Gunn movies. And that was definitely one of them. The other person they have on their Lexus team is the engineer, who is from the Authority comics. She basically has a lot of nanotechnology and can transform. And while they are there at the fortress, Lex and them, they discover the message from the parents, and they are able to uncode the rest of the message and find out it's not all peace and love. It is, we want Clark or Kal-El to be a conqueror on Earth, to
take as many wives.
Yes, as harem, and subjugate the people, and build a new Krypton, and so once the people hear that, they turn on Superman, and also they capture Crypto, and so Superman surrenders himself because he wants Crypto back, which leads to a eventual escape. Then there's a big fight at the end, and Lex is so power hungry he's willing to destroy Metropolis, and Superman has to stop them.
Yeah,
that's the basic plot.
Yeah, and the whole thing with Baravia. There's kind of like a B plot where Lois and the Daily Planet are uncovering that, and it's my favorite thing. It's something that I can't go DC without crapping on Jeff Loeb. It's something that Jeff Loeb never got with Public Enemies. You don't beat Lex Luthor with punching. You got to beat Lex Luthor with the press, with the truth, and with the news, and that's how they beat him.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about the press. We had the Daily Planet. I keep wanting to say Daily Bugle, so if I slip up, but the Daily Planet staff, I thought everybody was great casting here. I thought that everybody, was great at their roles. I thought it was one of the best Jimmy Olsens we've had on film. Not really any complaints at all about the Daily Planet cast.
Whenever I heard that Beck Bennett from SNL was playing Steve Lombard, I was so excited because I'm like, that is perfect.
Yeah. And it's great that James was willing to dig deep into the lore, throw Cat and Steve on there, and even all the little henchmen that are with Lex on the computers, they're all from the comic books. Like everybody in that room is
Otis.
from the comics, and yeah.
Eve is interesting as well. So funny enough, so I have slides for like for most of the different characters. But I forgot Eve, but Eve is fun. She more so reminds me of the old Christopher Reeve Superman Lex Luthor girlfriend. Because at first, like any time you do Eve Tess Mercer, I automatically think, okay, so is this your Mercy Graves? That's not her at all. This is not Mercy Graves.
Yeah, and you were talking about the advertising for this. One of the trailers shows her taking a selfie, and that was one of the part of the trailers that people cringed about. It was like, oh, selfies, what is this? And it's actually like a crucial part of the plot.
It's a crucial part of the plot, and like when because like you don't know that that's Lex Luthor's girlfriend in the trailer. That kind of makes sense that she would be taking selfies.
Yeah,
I actually hated that part at first, to be honest. I was just like, really, we're going to do this whole like girlfriend ex machina kind of bit. But then I had to remind myself that this is a Silver Age comic movie. And it works at that point.
Yeah,
I thought it was fun because she could have very easily just been the ditzy girlfriend. Because it's been also I've seen the first Superman movie, but I think that's how it is, right? The ditzy girlfriend helps Superman
yes.
escape with the kryptonite around his neck. It very well could have been the exact same thing over. So for
Mhm.
her to be smart enough to be secretly taking pictures of everything and stuff, I thought that was a fun twist.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Especially when he started texting her and it said mutant toes or whatever it said. I was like, is this like another prisoner, like Metamorpho? I was trying to figure out who mutant toes were.
You said that it looks like someone spilled shrimp cocktail on the floor. Oh man, it's a lot of fun. I think we should go ahead. We'll talk character specifics. Let's talk about this man right here, David Corenswet, as Superman. If I may be so bold, this man is Superman.
He, I mean, I think the only one you have to really compare him to is Christopher Reeves, because I think he's better than all the others, and he may be better than Christopher Reeves. We'll have to
Um,
see.
So I'm also like thinking. I'm a big fan of Tyler Hoechlin. Not in Supergirl or like the Arrowverse, but Superman and Lois, which is
Mhm.
different from all the Arrowverse stuff. And so I'm a big fan of him as well. But man, I mean, this guy, even even in like I said, I was avoiding marketing as far as like the trailers and whatnot, but just watching him, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nicholas Hoult like in the interviews, and I'm just watching him, and I'm like, this guy's just like a cool guy. Like, and seeing videos of him like high fiving kids on set, like telling kids good job. That was great. You're doing great. I don't know, like this guy. With the way that you sell me on you being Superman is you got to show me outside of the film that you're a good guy. And one of the most unfortunate things about Zack Snyder's stuff is I think Henry Cavill was kind of Superman in every way except on screen.
Well, and that was the writing. That was not his
Yeah,
fault. And
yeah.
I do agree that he feels very wholesome. His character does, which we haven't really seen, I think, since Christopher Reeve's character to that degree.
Let me put it to you this way:
Hmm.
he goes through a lot of pain at the beginning. He uh he like they make the sun healing look very painful. He gets up and his first words are, golly,
Yeah,
crypto, what the hey, man? What
yeah,
did you do? I don't know, like this is, I don't know how to put it. This is like the most Christian Superman I've ever seen.
yeah. And all of his scenes as Clark are good. And then when he goes to interview Lois, the way his voice changes and stuff, where he's like changing the
Miss
persona and stuff.
Lane, yeah.
Yeah, it's great. He is perfect casting for Superman. I really enjoyed it, and I've heard a lot of people say this is my Superman, and I get it.
Jonathan, what about you?
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about like the young Superman take on it. Like, because it seems like the way James Gunn wrote the character was young Superman is prone to having emotional outbursts and things like that. When you see that when Lois is grilling him in that one scene,
Mm-hmm.
people are gonna die. I get it, but I've always just personally pictured Superman as he has his emotions in check unless you really just tick him off, like he got the Lois or whatever. So I don't know if that worked for me, but otherwise, yeah, I think he's great. I really think
Mm-hmm.
he has the mannerisms. Other than that one part down, um, We didn't. I'm sure we'll get to it, but we didn't see much of him interact with Mom and Pa Kent. So I would like to see more of that.
Mm.
Maybe, but
Yeah, I mean that I'll agree with you there. If I'm being completely honest, if I have a complaint about this movie, and it really, it's one of those complaints about a movie that's really not even about the movie. I know that we're kind of proud and we're, getting away from doing origins, kind of like we did with Spider-Man and whatnot. There's a part of me that's like, man, I kind of wish we saw this guy's origin. I want to see him in Smallville. I want to see his first interaction with Lois.
yeah, we
So,
needed something. We needed something at the beginning of the movie. That's why the whole he just hits the snow and Antarctica real hard and his crypto brick and whatever. That didn't work for me as the beginning of the movie because
Mhm.
not to backtrack this, but just we needed something other than like 300 years ago and 30 years ago or 3 years ago or 3 weeks ago or 3 minutes ago.
And this is where I disagree with James Gunn. You have to tell the beginning of the story because
This is a new Superman.
there are generations of kids who don't know who Superman is. You have to reintroduce him to the next generation, which is why we have seen that story over and over and over and over. You always have to retell that story because you've always got a brand new audience coming in. Yeah, we've seen it 100 times, but there are some kids I've never seen it. They don't even know who this is.
So interestingly, so I'm my cousin Malachi's CLS worker. And so I'm with him on Saturdays. Yesterday, I'm talking to my Aunt Kristen, and I say, "Hey, were you guys planning on taking him to see Superman? I think it's really good. I think he'll enjoy because he loves My Hero Academia. He loves that. And so I'm like, I think he'll really enjoy it, and I also think it has a great message. I think there's a learning experience because I always like to teach him things whenever I take him out as a CLS worker. And so we're watching it, and the scene after the scene after the pocket universe where they escape, and she takes to Mom Pa. Malachi, like in the middle of the movie, there says, "Wait, they know," because it didn't register to him that Ma and Pa Kent knew that he's Superman. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so now I'm like, man, I gotta get like a rubric or something. I gotta show this kid Superman.
Right. Because you assume that people, oh, it's Superman. Everybody knows that. And this is a mistake that Warner Brothers in particular has made where they just assume, oh, everybody knows Bugs Bunny. We've shown it for decades, reruns on Saturday mornings. Everybody knows this. And then when you stop showing it for 15 years, you have a whole generation that has no clue who Bugs Bunny is or why they should care.
Yeah. And I think that's the difference because in regards to Spider-Man, I don't think we needed to see the origin for Spider-Man in the MCU. My big thing is we don't acknowledge Uncle Ben's existence at all. But as far as like actually seeing the origin, we don't need to see it because this generation, I mean, like we've seen that origin so many times. But I mean, Superman, there are not as many Superman cartoons as there are Spider-Man cartoons. The last consistent one that was on for children was Superman the Animated Series in the 90s. And even though My Adventures with Superman is very good and it is actually made for kids, Cartoon Network didn't want it because they don't want action shows, so they put it on Adult Swim, even though it's for kids.
Yeah.
So that's a...
I suspect, I'll posit this, see what you guys think. I suspect part of why this movie in particular was written in the way it was with Mom and Pa Kent was because it had to do with Americana specifically. And they didn't want to Americanize it too much for the global audience for some fear of whatever, even though I think global audiences understand that that Superman is Americana.
I can see that, and I mean, but at the same time, they even touch on that where like the whole plot of the film is, you know, even though we know he's not, he knows he's not. People think that he's a representative of the United States, and you know, going into Moravia was like this political act, which I can definitely see, like they wanted to get away from the Americana, while at the same time having people think that he's a representative of the United States. So,
And the whole conflict thing, people are like, "Oh, that's the Middle East today," and it's like, this is from the comic books in the 30s.
I mean,
this is before Israel even existed.
I mean, So this is. I mean, Moravia has been in the comic books since. So Moravia is in the comic books as a problematic, as a problematic in the 1930s. Israel was not even recognized until after World War II. If I'm being completely honest, if there was any sort of comparison, I saw more Russia, Ukraine.
Yes, and I didn't want to get political, but if you have listened to interviews with a certain president, they will ask, which side are you on, Russia or Ukraine? And he said, I don't care. People are dying. Can we just stop the war?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that is Superman. He doesn't care which side. People are dying. Let's stop the death because
So it's at the lowest, exactly, like verbatim. People were dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I to bring it back to Cornsweet, I'm a big fan of him, and I'm excited to see more of him. Next up, I have Rachel Brosnahan, Lois Lane. I love her. She's great. I think if, regardless of what people think about, you know, everyone has opinions on the movie. I don't think that we can deny that. I mean, just everyone brings their A game as far as performances go. I
thought that Baby Joey was phoning it in a little bit.
I love Joey. So I think she's great. And it's weird because I think that in some ways it's actually harder to get Lois right than Superman, because you have to make her really smart. It's smart enough to be like this hard-hitting reporter, but not too smart to where she is overshadowing Superman and Lex. And unfortunately, as much as I love Amy Adams, I think she might have been too much in those. But I think Rachel Brosnahan just kind of really nails it. For me, with Cornsweet, like I'm like, oh man, I love Chris Reeve, I love Tyler Hoechlin. Rachel Brosnahan, it's not a question for me. For me, she is the best Lois Lane. I love Margot Kidder, I love Bitsy, I love Erica Durance. This is Lois Lane.
I think I agree. Other than maybe Dana Delaney on the Superman animated series, I think this is.
I would say this is almost like the live action adaptation of Dana Delaney.
Yes, yeah, I agree. So sorry, Margot Kidder. Sorry, Terry Hatcher. Sorry, everybody else.
Yeah, this version, I think, strikes a good balance.
This is the best Lois.
Being the good investigative reporter and also being Superman's girlfriend. That makes sense.
Yeah, and you know, I appreciate that it's still early enough in their relationship that we're not that like we can still have these problems. Like let's be honest about one thing. I understand her hesitancy to go into her own apartment because she's been dating him for 3 months and he's already in there cooking her breakfast unannounced. So I get it. But yeah, I love their dynamic. I think the dynamic between Clark and Lois is one of the most important things that you can get in Superman, because that I'm not going to say she's what keeps him human, but because that's what Zack Snyder says. It's all about Lois. But I do think it's important. I agree that it's important. I don't think it's the only thing, but it's important.
Yeah, and again, the press plays a major important role in the story, which you don't really see with the other movies, you know. So I think, I think this was good, and
she doesn't need saving.
Yeah, I was about to say she's not a damsel in distress. So yeah.
Oh man, it's and I ironic. I love her whole dynamic with Mr. Terrific too. I think that's fun.
Yeah.
So, it's time. Let's talk about the $2 million man. How weird is it that we're in a world where Lex Luthor, the actor who plays Lex Luthor, got over double what the actor for Superman played?
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm sure that will not be the case. Well, and maybe for a sequel, I don't know, but I'm sure he'll get more. David Corenswet will get more for the sequel, I would assume.
Yeah. I usually I've been starting it off super positive. Like, someone else want to take Lex?
Yeah. I thought it was really good. He really is prideful. His ego's out of control. He really hates Superman. He thinks he has it all figured out until he doesn't. Rekship and I discussed a little bit offline about him tearing up at the end was a little odd. That might be the only part where I'm kind of like, eh. But if you're an ego monster, I mean, maybe you would. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that
maybe Crypto ripped the big Kryptonian dog part. Who knows?
That's kind of where, because I know you mentioned that as well about Lex tearing up, and that's where I'm at. Is I mean, like, this is. I can't think of a more narcissistic Lex Luthor we've ever had. And so, I mean, like, if this is the ultimate narcissist, I can definitely see, him tearing up, because it's not about him being defeated. It's not even the pain of being ripped apart by a Kryptonian dog. It is the fact that this man is a narcissist, and he is being completely rolled on international television.
Yeah, and I think this is probably, he's either number 1 or 2 on my Lex list. Michael Rosenbaum is the other one that I really enjoy.
Which makes sense, because if you talk, you look up stuff about like from Nicholas Hoult and from James Gunn, so much of this movie is Smallville.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I really like this character. I really like the way that he has like a group of people like worship the ground he works on or walks on. Like when he kept knocking over stuff and they kept everybody rushing to pick it up. And
it's great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Really great performance, and
keeping an ex-girlfriend, not even Eve, I'm talking about the other one, just for writing a bad blog post in the Pocket Dimension.
And the way that when Superman's in the cell and they all start tattling on him because everybody just wants Lex's approval, and that's just it's just a great scene. Yeah,
I mean, let's go back a little bit. Speaking of the cell with Molly, I think was his name.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that was the most despicable I've seen Lex, and the most despicable that I've seen. We're pretty good about well, not pretty good. We're it's hard to adapt a fictional president of a foreign country. But man, I'm like, I bet you some political leaders would definitely laugh at that.
It's a brutal scene because he, you think it's gonna go on for a while, and it's the second time he pulls the trigger and it kills him, and he's like, "Well, gonna have to go get another one," and just Superman feeling helpless. But not only that, the fact that he writes a whole article about him at the end that he was the true hero.
It's
that
great.
is so Clark Kent, so Superman, and so there's another example of James Gunn just getting the character perfectly.
And also, and we'll get to him here in a second. Just Metamorpho and him kind of realizing what is happening, because it's one of those things where like he probably doesn't actually realize what's going on until that moment.
Yeah. One other thing before we move on, I really enjoyed the conversation between Superman and Lex at the end of the movie, and that's the scene where I'm disappointed where Crypto interrupts it. Like I wanted to hear more of that scene.
Yeah, I can see that. Part of it, part of me felt like it was more of just puny god, very similar to that scene. It was one of those things like, oh my god, Narcissus is going, just shut up. So like I get it, but I also get I could have gone either way. I'm happy with the scene that we got, but I can also, I'm cool with more of that speech as well. I go either way on that.
Cool. Who's
Let's
next?
see. Let's talk Engineer Ultraman. So I'm definitely curious what we get in the future with the Engineer. Apparently I didn't catch it the first time through. I'm glad I got to see it again because I thought she died.
Nah.
Nope, just go. She's unconscious. Okay, forget about her now.
Yeah.
Move on.
Which part of me wouldn't notice, but I'm like, wait a second, don't we have an authority thing coming up? Like at some point, we're already killing off Engineer. As far as these characters go, I think they fill the role quite nicely. Because I mean, it can't be Lex to fight. We need action in this movie. Can't be Lex. And so we've got essentially a. I thought he looked like Doomsday in the containment suit, so I thought he was going to be some sort of Doomsday character at first. And then Engineer, which as far as the special effects go, I thought Engineer looked great. It was, and like when he's coughing up the nanites after them being in his lung. It's you ever watch those videos that's like peeling something that's like satisfying?
Mm-hmm.
I got that feeling as he was pulling it out of. Maybe that's just a me thing. I don't know.
Well, it's more gross when you remember that is like her body basically.
True.
So the big rumor online going into this, and I'm glad it wasn't true because it wouldn't have made sense movie wise, was that Ultraman was going to be played by Henry Cavill.
That would have been.
Oh man, I would have. I mean that Deadpool can get away with the Cavalrine because Deadpool is a funny movie.
Yeah, that would have taken me out of the movie completely.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it would have been oh look, he's attacking the Snyder fans or whatever. I'm glad that they left it all.
Mm-hmm.
It's just him, and
yep. And I mean,
they're setting him up to be dumb as a rock, and him going through the portal at the end. I mean, it's got to be Bizarro.
Got to be, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, especially when it has David Corenswet playing him.
Yeah, so I'm really. I think Bizarro next to Lex is my favorite Superman villain. So I'm really hoping that they.
Which I mean that him being a clone was kind of already spoiled for them at the first 20 minutes of the movie. Pay attention enough, so
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I loved it whenever what does he say? Oh, ye of little faith, and then the Fortress of Solitude just rises.
Right.
Which going back to Lex real quick, because I forgot to mention this, that scene where he's just walking up to the computer in the Fortress of Solitude, that is pure Lex. Like nothing is phasing him, and it's great.
This is all beneath me. Yeah, it's great.
But yeah, I'm definitely excited. I'm excited that we're starting. I'm going to go ahead and throw some shade at Marvel, if I may. We're starting this universe off right. We didn't kill a single villain.
Yeah.
Man, think about what the Thunderbolts could have been if we actually had villains.
No, they did kill someone. They did kill the big kaiju.
Oh, that's right. Dang it.
The big kaiju that they'll never explain where it came from. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the same time, though, I mean, I believe it that Lex, Lex would have something like that.
I'm sure there were deleted scenes. It felt like this movie had a lot of deleted scenes. So,
but yeah, I'm happy with the Thunderbolts movie that we eventually got. It's a fine movie, but it's like, man, imagine if we didn't constantly kill off our villains every movie.
Imagine if we had a plan. This could be great.
Well, we'll get to this. I don't think there's a plan here either, but I don't think they need one. But we'll get to that.
I think James Gunn plans more than you think, and he's already said that where we're heading is all set up in this movie. You just don't know it yet. The big. Whatever.
I do have that's the last thing we're going to talk about. I do have theories about that. I guess it's like, it's one of those things where correct me if I'm wrong. I might be totally off on this, but it's my feeling. I think this is a great movie on its own. It doesn't feel like a commercial for the next movie.
Oh yeah, other than Supergirl at the end, this is very much a standalone movie. So I thought that was good. The Justice Gang, yeah.
Let's talk the Justice Gang. Right. Well, I'll go ahead and say this was my biggest fear. Because I was like, is this movie going to be overbloated? James Gunn, he's like he kind of reminds me of Jonathan Hickman in a way, where he's just this master of ensemble casts. I was definitely afraid that it was going to be overbloated and like we weren't going to get a whole lot of Superman, and it's like, why are these people here? But I don't think they intrude as much as people were fearing. I think Nathan Fillion kills it. I cannot believe that we are living in a world where Guy Gardner is the most popular Green Lantern at this point.
We've seen him before Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart.
I've already said Mr. Terrific kills it. He's great. I actually love this actor. He was in House and he was Darwin in X-Men First Class, so I'm glad to see him here. And Hawk Girl is a little bit of nothing, but
Is that a thing in the comics where she screams all the time, or no?
Yes.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I am satisfied with the Justice Gang and the little tease of Maxwell Lord. That's fun, which that's part of my theory for the future is the tease of Maxwell Lord.
Yeah.
What if we get? And we'll talk about when we get to the upcoming things. What if we get a Justice League International before we get Justice League of America?
I could see that, honestly.
Because I mean, you've already got Maxwell Lord and Guy Gardner, and I mean, this is much more of that team than a classic Justice League team. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, just a little side note: Justice Gang, JG, James Gunn. Just gonna throw it out there.
Oh, I didn't even know. That's fun. I like that.
Yeah, and that's his logo on the front of his shirt right there. It's a J and G.
Yeah.
Okay, James Gunn. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me a while. I was like, why Justice Gang? And I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, part of me, I was thrown back to the Mystery Men where they couldn't decide on a name. And it's like, I got it with a super squad.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Caleb, that like my biggest fear was that this wasn't going to be a Superman movie. It was going to be a Justice Gang movie with Superman in it, and thankfully it wasn't. Each member of them played a role to help Superman beat Lex and win the day. So I was glad that was the case. I kept laughing at Guy Gardner just being
Being
both
Guy Gardner.
being a douchebag and just a complete idiot at the same
Yep.
time.
Sorry,
Instead of
kid.
eating like Fruit Loops in a restaurant.
Superman couldn't make it, so you got yourself an upgrade. And then he just starts flipping off the Baravian army. It's amazing.
Yeah. And the Morpho shows up. Oh, you want that? The face of the Justice Gang? That's a
Just-
cool name. All right, you're in.
All right, you're in.
Yeah, you're in. Yeah, I thought they were fun. Well, I know a lot of people were complaining about the haircut. I'm like, it's from the comic.
That's accurate.
Hey, guess what? I've been complaining about that haircut for a while.
It's just Guy Gardner, man. If I know, I don't think Caleb's read them, but those classic Justice League International comics with Guy Gardner are so much fun. We will eventually cover them on the show. Just him and Batman interacting. It's a lot of fun.
Nathan Fillion has said what he's most excited about is getting punched in the face by Batman.
Yeah. One of the best moments in comic book history is that punch. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. So in addition, Metamorpho. I wish there was like a scene with all four of them, but there wasn't. So Metamorpho, who I guess kind of joins the Justice Gang at the end, but he's in that pocket universe. Actually, can I bring up the pocket universe real quick?
Yeah.
Did Lex invent boom tubes? Are we implying that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Because also one other thing, did he create the pocket universe or did he open the pocket universe? Because
he opened it.
yeah,
I thought they explained it.
well, Mr. Terrific at the end, he's like, "This is why you don't create a pocket universe." But then Lex was talking about how he opened the pocket universe. So I'm wondering if this is actually the Phantom Zone that he accidentally found the Phantom Zone or something like that. I don't know. Like
I mean, he does set up as a prison, so I mean that
It's
kind of
either
makes
going to be
sense.
the Phantom Zone or because of what happens at the end of the movie, it's going to be Bizarro World.
Yeah. So
I think Bizarro World makes sense because everything's cubes in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does make sense.
So
yeah, that's not a complaint. It's just more just like, what do you think this is? But yeah, as far as Metamorpho goes, Metamorpho is played by Anthony Carrigan. I kind of love this guy in everything he's in, and he's in a lot of. He's actually in quite a bit of DC stuff. He played Victor Zsasz in Gotham, and he was. He's in some Law and Order episodes because who else isn't? He also plays Mist in The Flash, so he's in quite a bit. I love the fact that even beneath all that makeup, we still got a very emotive person, and I feel like we got a full character, and he's in it for maybe 4 minutes.
And I can never remember this character's name. I call him Eclipso all the time, or Elemento, or Elemental Lad, and I could never remember that's Metamorpho. That's my DC foo.
Well, neither could Lex because he called him the Element Man, and I was confused about that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jonathan.
I do wish there was some kind of explanation for him, just like a very brief one, because I don't know which DC either. I know of Metamorpho, but I just don't know what his backstory. And also, why is Baby Joey there? Like, who is that?
Yeah,
why does Baby Joey look like that?
That was a complaint of mine also, because they're acting like you saw the Justice League episodes about him. And there is a newspaper in Lois's room that mentions the whistleblower at, is it Strauss Industries or whatever?
Stag.
Stag.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, no, but that's the interesting thing because the scene where Superman finds out, um, about the message, and then he's talking with the Justice Gang, and Guy, blocks the view of everyone.
Yeah, it was in Stag.
It was a
Stag
stag.
Industries
It was a
building,
stag.
wasn't
It was stag. Yeah, exactly. It was a Stag Industries building. So it's one of those things where like they definitely don't set it up, but it almost kind of and it's not a great way to tell. It's more of a video game storytelling than a than a movie. You don't really do this in a movie, but it was kind of a environmental storytelling. I'm not saying it's great for a movie, but that's what it reminded me of.
And it makes sense for his character that the last time he was a whistleblower, look what happened. So I'm not going to stick my neck out for anybody else again until he sees what happens. So yeah.
But yeah, I'm a fan of him, and I'm wondering if we might get some Outsiders at some point, because I love the Outsiders.
I could see that, and again, just like my little nitpick there, it feels like a lot of this was in the movie and they cut it. Like there was a lot of cuts made to the movie. Like I'm sure there was more of his story.
3 hours or something, wasn't it? And that was
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. And if I may, I'd honestly rather what we got than it be a 3-hour movie. That was like, if I have a lot of qualms with Man of Steel, my biggest problem is it was just so long that it kind of drags. That's one of my bigger qualms, at least. So
yeah, I almost got in a fight leaving the theater because the guy was like, the guy at work there was waiting to clean up. He's like, was this better than Man of Steel? I was like, don't you talk about Man of Steel. That movie sucks.
Why did you say that name?
Why did you say that? I'm in a good mood.
Say Superman.
Say. Oh man, and that's one thing that I'll say, and I don't want to harp on Man of Steel, too much, because I mean it's a different movie, but I never really felt comfortable calling Kevin Costner Pa Kent. That's just Jonathan Kent. Oh my god! I mean, this is Mon Pa Kent. I actually, unfortunately, I don't have a slide for them because somehow I forgot about them. They're not in it too much, but
well, it's okay. I think James Gunn did too.
Yeah, but from what we got, I mean, oh man, this is Mon Pa Kent. This is the scene where they call him. It's like, we wanted to congratulate you on your front page cover story.
See, I hated this interpretation, to be honest. It just it seemed too country bumpkin for I'm sure there's country bumpkins in Kansas, but I really don't think Ma and Pa Kent would be that country bumpkin. Like it was clearly, at least in my mind, what I saw, it was clearly just made to be, haha, look at the flyover country people and how dumb they are.
I kind of agree
It felt that way, at least.
I felt like their characters were a little bit off, but I kind of came back around on them by the end with the ending scene and everything, and seeing the scene of them growing up together. That kind of made up for it.
Yeah, because it threw me off when the Lois brings him into his bedroom and Paul's like, "Is it going to be okay?" I'm like, okay, first of all, it's Mom and Pa can't know their son. Like they're gonna be getting warm wash rags and whatever else.
Yeah.
Going, what are we gonna do?
Well, I'll give him one thing about that. The Hammer of Baravia was the first fight he ever lost.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance that maybe they've never seen their son like this before.
Yeah. And I mean, we didn't really talk about the end of the movie and one of the themes about at the beginning the robots are showing his Kryptonian parents, saying that they think it helps him calm, and at the end it's
I did like that.
Earthly parents. That was one of the best scenes of the movie, and actually teared up a little. But it's also, again, this is Yondu all over again from Guardians 2. It's like, oh yeah, I've seen this.
See, I think it would have served the movie better to have those montages at the beginning of the movie as an origin, just to
I can see that, yeah.
Do that real quick. take all
Or
those scenes,
even-
do that beginning of the movie, and then cut to him, hate the snow. Something.
just like when he's laying in the ice, just
Yeah.
like he keeps passing out, just a quick montage, just poof, poof, poof. Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, we're doing Batman Begins.
yeah. But
Let's see.
At least as a callback to it'd be a cool callback.
Yeah,
but I think that is one of my bigger critiques is his parents. But again, I like the movie. It's just I would have done it differently, but that's it's not my movie.
Sure.
So we already went over them.
Let's go back real quick to the Daily Planet staff.
Yeah.
Do you have individual slides for all these people or no? It's just,
I don't. I treated them kind of like the Justice Gang.
So I did want to talk about Perry. I thought Perry was great.
I love Wendell Pierce. Have you guys ever watched Jack Ryan, the Krasinski show on Amazon?
Yes.
I have not.
So when he plays, I can't. Oh my gosh, I can't remember his name. But like the Morgan Freeman character in some of All Fears, he plays his boss essentially.
Yeah.
And oh man, he's great in that. And I love seeing Wendell Pierce in anything I can see him in.
So my question for you all: does he know that Clark is Superman?
No, I don't think he does.
Ooh. Okay. So
if you watch the movie, when
maybe
Clark
by
walks
the end
in,
of the movie, he might suspect that there's something.
Yeah.
There.
When Clark walks into the Daily Planet, he gives him a look, and when Superman walks by at the end, he gives him the exact same look.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I
just chalked the look up to him being just like, "You're late again, Clark."
But I definitely think by the end I think he does, because we can definitely we can have Jimmy be the character, or Jimmy and Kat are like because we don't establish who Lois has been dating for the past 3 months, in the context of Kat. And so it's like, oh, it's Superman. How long have they been hooking up? Probably about the past 3 months. Which I thought was a funny scene. I think we can have Jimmy and Kat in the future kind of be like, well, wait a second, who are you dating, Clark or Superman? Like, you're going out with both of them. That's kind of weird. I think Perry could pick up on that though.
Also, just real quick, little side conversation. Steve Lombardi, he's very much a Flash Thompson character where he hates Clark but loves Superman.
Did you see him remove the pin from his lapel?
Yeah.
That was great. I love that. I also like there was I don't think Ronnie got any dialogue, but at least we mentioned Ronnie and put Ronnie in the ship with them. I'm like, okay, we got the gang's all here. No dialogue, but good on you, Ronnie.
Again, probably cut scenes. I'm sure he may have had dialogue at one point. So,
I do love, and what's my favorite thing about Jimmy? Jimmy is kind of a play on the thing that I've never understood as a man, which is how do people find Pete Davidson so hot? And I felt and I'm like, okay, so James Gunn's with me on this. We're kind of doing that with Jimmy. I get it. But I thought that was a lot of fun.
I feel like this is a play on All-Star Superman Jimmy Olsen, where he gets all the really fun columns every week, like the day in the life of, where he's just doing all this outrageous stuff, and so girls are very interested in him. It's the way I kind of took it. So So all right, let's move on to the next slide.
Before we move on to the next slide, let's move on to the next slide. I want to talk about the music, and this, both the music and kind of the theme of punk rock. First of all, I thought the music was Superman through and through. I think it's hard to get Superman wrong, even though we have gotten Superman music wrong before. Um, but yeah, do you guys have anything to talk about as far as music goes?
When I was watching Creature Commandos a few weeks ago, I was like, what in the world does Frankenstein monster shirt say? And it says Mighty Crab Toys, and I was like, I did not understand the reference. Now I get it. But yeah, so this has been seeded a while back. So
yeah, which we just got Max, and I'm gonna be getting around to Creature Commandos here in a little bit. Because at this point, this is I almost like want to stop the Marvel streak. It's hard because I've had the Marvel streak since the first Iron Man. But this one, I'm so excited to have the DC streak. So I want to get into like Creature Commando, and I'm really excited for Peacemaker season 2. Yeah, so it's this whole idea of punk rock, and for those of you who don't know, or those who do know, I'm a big punk rocker. And by punk rock, I'm talking more kind of pop punk. I grew up on Reliant K. I love Blink-182 and Green Day. And I record music. My dad's got a studio in his basement, so I've even got albums on Spotify and Apple Music, and I do punk rock myself. So the idea of this movie kind of spoke to me as the punk rocker, where the punk rock has always been anti-establishment. So what happens when the establishment is hate, yelling, negativity? Anti-establishment is kindness. Anti-establishment is caring, and anti-establishment is justice. And I'm like, and so when Clark says, well, maybe that's the real punk rock, I mean, I'm glad they didn't spell it out the way I did. I'm glad they just kind of let that sit.
Yeah, it's a good message, and one that we don't hear enough, because I think it's a little bit of a commentary on recent movies, especially the DC movies, how they're grim and gritty, and this is something different.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah, this is just, and to me, it's just another James Gunnism with the whole, like, I don't want to say indie, but just like not like mainstream music playing whatever else. It did feel a little Guardians, that's because that's how we see that kind of thing now.
mm-hmm.
But I don't know that it was 100% Superman to me, but it wasn't like not Superman, I guess, either.
I don't think it's Superman in what's the word I'm looking for? It's not inherently Superman.
Right.
James Gunn convinced me it was Superman, if that makes sense.
I thought Lois's reaction to his taste of music was fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question, because he mentions different like the Mighty Crab Toys and whatnot. He mentions the PODs. James Gunn apparently had his own punk rock band back in the day, either called the Pods or the PODs, whichever one. But there's also a Christian new metal band called POD, and I'm cool with either one, because if this is the most Christian Superman I've seen in movies, he would definitely think that Here Comes the Boom is a punk song. So I just wanted to mention that. What do you guys think of we're in this world of we're sick of effects, and we're everyone wants to practical again. I really don't know much about the behind the scenes of how they did. Like, I don't know what they did that was practical, and what I believe Crypto's 100% CG.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that immediately, so I thought that was actually really good.
We didn't talk about Crypto either, so you can touch that too.
Oh, I didn't even mention. Oh my God. Okay, yeah. Let's talk Crypto, please.
He acts like every dog I've ever owned. We're just out of control.
Yeah.
We have very bad luck with pets, especially my last ones were Jack Russell Terriers, and they were just hyper and insane and just
Yeah.
nonstop energy. And so I got it. I get the
Yeah.
the way
Like
Crypto was acting.
I didn't mind that Crypto wasn't was he like a lab or something in the comic books, or I don't know what the brief was in the comic books, but yeah, I didn't mind him
He's Kryptonian.
being right. He's a Kryptonian, so I don't know why that matters so much to people.
It's kind of it's kind of like is Goku Japanese? I don't. He's a Saiyan.
It's one of the more unique takes we've seen on Crypto, because usually
Yeah.
Crypto's like the best dog ever.
Well, and
Yeah.
so where are we as far as age goes? Because I am from the generation I grew up on that Crypto the Superdog show.
Oh, I watched that with what's it called, Bat Hound and everything.
That Bat Hound and Streaky the Super Cat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Remember
that was my exposure to Crypto as a kid.
There was a Superman 80s cartoon. I'm sure Crypto was on there sometimes that I watched.
Yeah.
So that was probably my exposure, but I'm definitely familiar with
So
Crypto the Superdog cartoon.
I'm hoping. So in the movie, you find out that the whole reason Superman has Crypto is because he's dog sitting basically for Supergirl because she's out partying and whatever else. That's a whole other thing we can talk about later. But yeah, the unruliness of Crypto, it bothered me at first, but at least they explained it in the movie why he's so unruly, because Supergirl doesn't give a crap. It's like, you're a dog.
Yeah. And I mean, at least it's accurate, because like there are some interpretations where Crypto is Kara's dog, not Clark's.
Yeah.
So I definitely, and I'm also I feel Aaron on this, where I'm like, yeah, no, that's a dog.
That's dog. Yeah.
You, I also love, like where he's like, stop when he's biting his ankles and all that. Like that's
Yes.
a lot of fun. So we'll get to Supergirl, excuse me, here in a second. I figured we could talk about Supergirl in kind of just like the future of the DC universe. Before we move on to that, final thoughts on the film in general.
Like I said, to me, there are 5 A-tier superheroes in the world. You have Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, Hulk. To me, those are the ones that
I would add a 6th. I think
Okay.
we can put Wolverine in there too.
Yeah, Wolverine, I'm a little maybe, but I mean, I just think of growing up, those are the ones. At least when I was a kid, everybody knew, and then later Wolverine became that popular.
Yeah. I guess Wolverine would have been added to that tier.
Well, I think Wolverine had a Hostess flag commercial in it. Comic book did. Just saying. Hulk did.
Mm-hmm.
So, but to me, the biggest of the 6 is Superman.
Yeah.
And I've always said about anytime you're rebooting the DC universe, if you get Superman right, everything else will fall into place.
Mhm.
And I think that they have got Superman correct, and everything else should fall into place unless Warner Brothers just gets stupid and does stupid stuff. Make stupid decisions, which they are prone to do. But I think we are in good hands right now.
Jonathan?
Yeah. Like I said, as far as movie goes, there's definitely more good than bad, I think, in the movie. Like I said, I have a few nitpicks there that I talked about, but overall, I like the movie. I'm glad. I think it's heading in the right direction overall. I'm excited to see where it goes, this iteration of the DC movies. There's plenty of open doors now to do certain things with characters and whatnot. So, yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. Although, not excited for Supergirl in it now.
So myself, I mean, we're just going back to what I said at the beginning. I think this is a movie that is needed, because the message is very profound in my opinion, as far as, punk rock being anti-establishment. So being a good person is punk rock at this point. It is colorful. It is full of life and full of hope, and it's at least for my sensibilities, it's stupid in all the right places. It's this is a comic book come to life. So I am a big fan of it. So that is our opinions on the Superman movie, but we've got more to talk about because this is the beginning of a universe. This is chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, for the DC universe. And I am certain that I am 1/3 of people in this chat right now who is excited for Supergirl. I'll go ahead and play my hand here. I'm a big Tom King fan. I actually like his work. His Superman, his Batman definitely fell off. But the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King, which is kind of what they're adapting, it's one of those things where it's a Millie Alcock, who I love in House of the Dragon. Her depiction of Supergirl in this film for the 30 seconds, it is odd and jarring. It's just one of those things where, like, I know the story they're adapting, so I see where it's going. So, like, that's my thing about it. But I can definitely understand that this is not the small town country farmer's daughter Supergirl that we're all used to, though. So I get it.
Yeah, I find Tom King to be hit or miss, more miss than hit. He likes breaking down heroes, and it doesn't always work for me.
He's been better about that. Probably since 2022, he hasn't done it as much. But yeah, definitely, his Batman was already a victim of that before 2022.
Yeah, so and just the brief Supergirl at the end, it just felt like, hey, I've got attitude just for the sake of having attitude, and it just didn't work for me. So I'm not, as of right now, not looking forward to this. But
Yeah.
after I see Lobo and everything else, I might change my mind.
My fear with having Lobo as the villain movie, I don't know. It seems like it's not going to be the right fit. But I mean, I'm willing to at least give it a chance, I guess.
Oh, real quick, just a poll: who is familiar with the Woman of Tomorrow storyline?
Crickets.
No.
Crickets.
Okay,
Crickets.
Lobo's not the main villain of this movie.
But I thought he was in the movie. He's going to be in it.
He's in it,
Oh,
but
okay.
he's in it. But I mean, there were a lot of people in this movie too.
Yeah.
No. So Woman of Tomorrow is a story, and I'm actually not too familiar with Kara's like post-crisis backstory up until New 52, but essentially what they're doing with Woman of Tomorrow is she is on a quest for revenge. Her father was killed by this is gonna sound really weird, but like this space farmer named the Creme of the Yellow Hills, and so Creme of the Yellow Hills is gonna actually be the villain of the movie, and with that storyline in mind, I get with her like partying, getting drunk. I get where she's at. I think that we're eventually going to get the Supergirl that we're used to. This seems more like an Ahsoka situation where like we introduce a character as unlikable, and that's kind of the point because they're not in a great place right now. Because she has to.
Yeah, nothing you said there excited me at all, Caleb.
No.
So.
When you said the name of the villain, immediately it was like, y'all need to get a better name. Like, that's not.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Supergirl's, you know, you have the classic take, you have the Peter David take where she was like an angel and shapeshifter and all that weird stuff. So it's a hard character to nail down. So I'm curious to see what they do with it, but I'm not looking forward to it.
I'm gonna go ahead and just call you guys out. The Supergirl you guys are looking for ain't gonna be able to carry her own movie.
Well, I agree. I don't want a Supergirl movie.
Yeah.
I don't think that just
Okay. Gotcha. I misunderstood then. I understand what you guys are saying now. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm just not interested. Clayface, on the other hand, I think he's one of the more fascinating Batman villains and has the potential to be a very interesting tragedy type movie, type of movie we haven't really seen before as a superhero movie.
Yeah, especially with who's heading it up. Mike Flanagan, who is the king of modern horror at this point. I'm definitely. I don't think I'm going off on a limb saying that I'm the horror guy right now of the chat. But I'm a big fan of Mike Flanagan. Love Midnight Mass. He has adapted so many Stephen King novels. We're at a point where like Stephen King adaptations are good now because of Mike Flanagan. And so it's kind of weird thinking about like there's a possibility that the third movie in the DC cinematic universe is Clayface. But I like the I think it shows the approach that James Gunn is taking, which is, oh, you got a good idea for Clayface? Shoot, yeah, let's do it. And if we don't have a good idea for Batman, well, we're not going to do Batman. So I love that approach. That like we need good ideas for movies. We're not just trying to tick off boxes and meet a quota for our eventual Justice League movie. We're letting artists be artists and make good movies. And I think the Clayface movie is kind of indicative of that mindset.
Yeah, I think it's like you look where like Marvel announced a Blade movie and they don't know what they're doing with it, or why is there a Captain Marvel 2? Well, these are generally trilogies, so there has to be a second and third one, and they announce movies that don't have a reason to exist. So I think yes, if you have a good idea, a good plot, great. Let's do it. I do think, like I said, there's an overarching like plan of where they're heading, but also like if someone walks up and says, "Hey, I got a plot for Ambush Bug," and he loves it, then they're gonna announce a movie.
Oh, I'd love it. I
want them to be a matter eating lad. Just go nuts with it.
Well, let's talk about that because at this point, Clayface and Supergirl are the only ones that we know are in active production, and we have finished scripts. Like Batman, I don't think we have a finished script for yet. Nor do we have one for Authority or Swamp Thing.
So I think Lantern's show is moving forward.
Lanterns is moving forward, yes.
And the Batman 2 is supposedly has a script, but there's also been rumors that he's off the project, and so I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if sometimes we'll hear studios say, "Oh yeah, that movie's coming along great," but it's been secretly canceled for a year. So I don't know.
Shout out to the majority of Star Wars.
Yeah, and so I I don't know what's going on there, and I think that I think if the Penguin had not done as well as it did, then they
Mhm.
wouldn't care about sequel to the Batman. But because it did, now they're kind of like, okay, there is an audience there. But then James
Mhm.
Gunn's also like, I want to do my Batman, and I think Zaslav or whoever's like, no, no, we need a sequel to the Batman. So they're trying to do both, and I don't know if you can do both. So
No,
Yeah.
I don't think audiences would be able to comprehend two different Batmans.
yeah,
It's,
I think they try to say the audience is smart, but there's definitely the normie audience who is waiting for Iron Man and Batman to team up, and they don't understand why they don't team up.
I will say, and you've made that notion a couple times. I do think that audience is getting smaller. Just because I think that audience is getting older, and they're not even seeing movies in general.
That's true, but also the younger audience is not seeing movies either.
That is also true. So before you talk about what you think the big overarching plot is, let me. I'm curious how similar it is to what I think, because just the presence of the characters that we have in this movie that are kind of in the background leads me to believe that we're heading. And I don't think we're heading towards Crisis on Infinite Earths. I think that's been done to death. I don't think they're going to touch that.
I would assume, like, I haven't really thought this out. I would assume, all roads lead to dark side is what I always think. But
that's actually not where I'm thinking it's going.
yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't sat down and thought of it enough. Or what does gods and monsters mean? What why would you call that chapter one? You
Okay.
know,
So I think what we're headed towards, and I think the reason that it's called Gods and Monsters is kind of because of at the end you had what's his face turn to Flag Senior and say, I hope I said something along the lines of, I hope you're happy because the metahumans are in charge now.
yeah.
And so those are the gods and monsters. This is the rise of the gods and monsters, essentially. And because of that scene, as well as the presence of Maxwell Lord and the presence of Mr. Terrific as well, because Mr. Terrific was a pretty big part about the storyline, I think we're kind of headed towards the foundation of Checkmate, and we might be headed towards Infinite Crisis.
so you say these words like I know what they mean.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
My DC foo is very weak. I know of Crisis of the Infinite Earths, and then I know they've had a ton of Crisis C's since then, but I couldn't tell you the difference between
Is that the
one
one
is
Superman loses
Superboy
his
is
underwear
punching
on the
everybody,
outside?
or I don't know.
So Infinite Crisis is the one with Superboy.
Superboy Prime.
Yeah, Superboy Prime. Yeah,
that punches reality and changes it and all that. Okay.
Yeah. That's where I don't think that they're gonna like do the whole changing reality, because I think we've kind of done. We're not even at Secret Wars yet, but we've kind of done it to death at this point. But I do think that we're kind of heading in that sort of direction. Maybe getting away from my DC lexicon. I think we're heading more towards a Justice League Unlimited season 1 and season 2 thing, where the bad guy is kind of the government, and how they're kind of going to be framing the metahumans, kind of like how they framed Superman in Justice League Unlimited. As far as like who the big bad is, I believe the big bad in Justice League Unlimited ended up being Brainiac, who kind of fused with Lex Luthor. And then in Infinite Crisis, it was Superboy Prime. I don't exactly know who it would be at that point. I don't think Darkseid fits in that kind of storyline.
Yeah. I would definitely go with Brainiac because he hasn't really I don't think he's been in any of the movies, other than the cartoon movies.
We have not had a live action Brainiac. You're correct.
Yeah, so I mean that would be where I would go.
What was that, Jonathan?
I was actually expecting a Brainiac tease Brain in this movie, to be honest. But
yeah, I mean that kind of goes back to what I was happy about with this movie is we kind of this is its own movie. We don't really need to tease. So I was definitely happy about that.
So I wanted to ask Caleb, since he's our resident sort of DC expert.
Yes, sir.
The scene where Superman is just letting the Justice Gang fight in the background while he's talking to Lois, and they said they're fighting a fifth dimensional something. Was that a Mixtilyplix reference or no?
Mixiespitlick is a fifth dimensional being. Yes.
So that is related. They
Yep.
just okay.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking. I just needed.
Yep. That was a fifth dimensional imp.
So where do we think they go for Superman 2? Do we go to? I would personally go to Brainiac, unless he's a much bigger villain down the road. I wouldn't rush into Bizarro. Mixtilyplix is a good guess, or Parasite. Those are kind of the big ones I could think of off the top of my head, unless you want to do like Metallo or something. But they said there's no kryptonite left. So
I do think that we are in. First thing, they've said this, and I'm kind of on board with it. They said that Superman 2. At least as of right now, that could change next week if they make $1 billion in the next week. But they've said thus far Superman 2 is not really in the pipeline. So that's kind of where I'm at. If you were to do Superman 2, honestly, you might introduce the New Gods. Maybe go ahead and do Darkseid and introduce that whole the New Gods universe.
But just me listing off those characters, I'm like, we haven't had any of these characters in the movies. I was getting excited. I'm like, we could do Cyborg Superman, or we could do this character. We haven't seen them in the movies.
That is true. So I think the big thing is it really depends on Supergirl, because Supergirl is going to be it's going to be a space romp. So it's not going to take place on Earth. It is going to be it's not James Gunn working on it. It's Craig Gillespie, but it's probably going to be closer to a Guardians movie than Superman was. So I guess it kind of depends on where we go from there.
Yeah, and I guess if we have two Superman family movies back to back, it doesn't make sense to do another one that soon. Go somewhere else after that. So, yeah, it'll probably be a while before I get Superman 2. It is doing okay in the box office. I think word of mouth is starting to spread. But, of course, Fantastic Four comes out this weekend, so we don't know what's going to happen there.
I don't think there'll be that much of an impact.
I think the first week, Marvel always does well the first week. So I think they'll have like 130, 150 million opening, and then it'll fall off a cliff. It always does. Although I've heard good things about that movie, so I don't know. I'm torn on that one. But we've talked about that one to death. I'm excited about a comic book universe again.
Oh my god!
It's been a while. So I'm hoping they don't fumble this. I'm hoping that James Gunn puts the right teams together, and they, but there's also a rumor that they're doing all this, getting all these movies going so they can sell the company. So if they sell all this, there's no telling what will happen in the future. So,
well, that being said, Superman, the IP, it expires, the trademark expires 2030 something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, they've got like a 10-year window here before copyright laws get really crazy.
I am so curious. I think we'll find out what happens with Superman in 2030. Even though it doesn't expire in 2030, James Bond expires in 2030, and I think that is like a big franchise where we're going to find out what happens when copyright expires.
Can't wait for James Bond to team up with the Pooh.
Yeah, there was a push, and I don't think that's a very popular push. I doubt it will happen. But Disney kept expanding the copyright law over and over and over, and there was a push by one senator saying, no, we should get rid of all those extensions and put it back the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
And if that happened, it's like everything before like 1965 or something goes free game, and that would be insanity. Like every Marvel property, every Star Trek, everything would just be free game.
Let's get the amalgam comics going.
I think people are still scared to put Steamboat Willie in something, or Popeye, because they still don't quite, the rules are still murky. So other than putting them in horror films, they don't know what to do with these.
There is an action figure line right now. It's a Kickstarter project, but there is an action figure line, horror line, has a Steamboat Willie-esque figure.
Interesting.
That's the first one I've seen really do something with him.
So I think right now everybody's kind of fearful, but I think this is all going to change within the next 5 years when everybody can make their own movies, make it with AI.
Oh yeah.
I think all the copyright rules are going to go out the window, and all heck's going to break loose. So that's another discussion, but yeah, a lot of that is coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as the show goes, I think we've said our piece on Superman and kind of the future of the what is this called? It's not the DC Cinematic Universe. Is it just the DC Universe at this point?
I have no idea. I don't know if it matters.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that this kind of wraps up our Superman coverage for now. But Fantastic Four is coming out this Friday, so next week we'll be reading Silver Surfer Requiem and Silver Surfer Parable, one by J. Michael Straczynski and the other by Stan Lee. So this will, I think Silver Surfer is a fascinating character. I'm concerned about their plans for Silver Surfer in this movie, but we're going to read some what I think are considered classic Silver Surfer stories next week. So
yeah, and I actually like Silver Surfer. I was talking about this with a friend. The Fantastic Four is the weirdest thing because I love everything about the Fantastic Four except the four of them. I'm not a fan of the actual four, but everything else, give me the Fantastic Four.
Caleb loves the Inhumans. He loves them. So, all right. So that'll be next week's show. Please, hit the like button, share, subscribe, tell your friends. We're trying to grow the channel. And until next time, I've been Final Monkey.
I'm Caleb.
Redship 85.
And we'll catch you next time in the deep end.
See ya.